What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Bobby Fi and Eric Sheetsaber. We're going to be talking through this 7-game on DraftKings, 9 games on FanDuel slate. Um, I did not have a great night last night. It was not just nothing really worked for me. Anything for you, Sheets?
I had a run in like single entry. Didn't quite get there, so didn't quite make up for the other losses. I'm trying to think of what happened. What was the big value yesterday again? Oh, that was the Jalen Williams thing, right?
Yeah, and I mean even that still was like 5x. It wasn't like it was
No,
like
it was a non thing. You know what I mean? Everybody played him, so didn't make a difference.
right. And then for me, I had 100% Durant, which he didn't quite get there because they blew him out too easily, and then Booker was the one who got there. I didn't have enough Shea, Delano Banton, who I initially had all of. I did not end up with a bunch of them, so that was a little bit frustrating. So those were the ones that I missed out. And then
That seems pretty bad, Portland, huh?
I guess so, man. I really thought if there was a night where, I mean, they're really bad. Yeah,
They're just really bad.
they're just really bad. Yeah, fair enough. And
Well,
then
if you didn't like Jalen Williams yesterday, you could play him again today.
that's true. We're gonna have plenty of options like that. I don't know. I don't know that. Actually, wait a minute. I don't know that for some reason. Why is he not project? Yeah, actually think that this is sort of a misprojection. I think that he's gonna. I think that tonight he almost lock button for me, but we'll get into it, I guess. All right, let's go game by game. Do you want to pull up your screen? Or you want me to do it?
No, I could do it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a. There's a lot of value on this slate, and some of it isn't like screaming, but it's mostly pretty good value. I feel like so you're going to be able to spend up on whatever you want to. I guess that's my overall take on this slate here. All right.
I've got like so far we'll get to like 6, 7, 8 guys, all 6x or higher. So
Yeah, it's going to be deciding between them, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, we got Orlando and Boston. One of those guys is Wendell Carter, who's 4,300, which just feels like too cheap.
Yep.
This game has all kinds of danger about blowouts and whatnot, but I'm guessing that you're going to get to some Carter. Cole Anthony looks okay, but mostly other than that, I don't think I have a lot of interest in this game. How about you?
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 games with like 10-point spreads. You know, Boston's a 13-point spread. You have Milwaukee's a 12-point spread. It looks like New Orleans looks like a 12-point spread. You have OKC, the aforementioned OKC, with a 10-point spread. So that exists in all of them. In a lot of these games, actually. But yeah, Wendell Carter, 4,300 certainly looks reasonable enough, and he's one of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centers that I have. 7. One of them is multi-position eligible, but the other 6 are center only, all about 6x. So good luck. And I can't really distinguish them right now. So Wendell Carter certainly one of them.
Yeah, he's one who I like, but there's other options if you're worried about it. If you're worried about this game, and also he might play some blowout run though too. It's a little bit weird with Orlando. All right, Minnesota in New York. What are you getting?
We're gonna first run these builds, see exactly what you could start with them.
Yeah, I'll start with it. I think look, Mike Conley is no longer starting, but he's 3,500, and DiVincenzo's out tonight. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So you assume either Conley or Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'm guessing Conley would start, but one of those two is going to start, and both of them, whichever one doesn't start, is still a good play. Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are both projected around 6.5x. I think that's a reasonable projection. They're 33 and 3,500 with no DiVincenzo. It's hard not to like a lot of these pieces. I like Naz Reid also at 4,900. Jaden McDaniels is reasonable as always at 4,300. Not a guy I go out of my way for in general. I actually think it's a bump to Anthony Edwards as well, and it's also in New York. So I actually really like the Minnesota side of this. Interesting that DiVincenzo's not playing in the revenge game. And I don't really like the Knicks side very much. There's nothing that screams to me except for maybe just taking a shot on Cat. That's pretty much all I have for this one.
Yeah, I didn't really see I guess I didn't do the projections yet with Mike Conley. I guess that came in after I ran them because I'm not really getting him at all. I guess I have other guys in. Let me just see. Let me just double check, make sure I didn't miss anything. No, actually, I do have it. So I have Nickeil Alexander-Walker actually better by just a little bit as far as a point per dollar play than Conley. It's about the same. I mean, it's really not too much of a difference. But I have both those guys, and I have Jaden McDaniels also, 4,300. Knicks, not really seeing too much. I guess, like you said, I guess Cat and Brunson, we can certainly play either of those guys. And yeah, certainly there's a decent. Boy, I would have thought there'd be blowout risk here. This is, I guess Minnesota's pretty good. You think Anthony Edwards will be inclined to shoot a lot in this game?
Yeah, I like Edwards with no DiVincenzo, and I like they're in New York and they're going to need him. Those are the things that I think that he makes him a good spend up today.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's interesting with New York because you really do get the best efforts from the star players. Like it feels like we see it more often than not. All right. BMax says Zion is going to smash today. I don't know how in the world I could. I'm guessing that Zion's still on the minutes limit, but we'll get to that game in a little bit. I think
was he the same guy that the thought was going to smash last game? Also, I forget.
I think maybe.
There's somebody with him with the 25-minute limit and thinking he was going to.
He might smash in that period of time, but he's not going to play much. Like, all right. Denver and Miami, we've got Jokic is questionable. So I guess what do you really do except for say that, well, Jokic is always a good play. It's probably one of the worst matchups you could have. And honestly, I'm kind of off this game today. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of looking. And currently, I have to look way, way down to get to anybody. I'm getting, you'll see, like Jamal Murray right now would be my top guy. And he's only, 22%. That's something. But aside from that, it's not like a game that have like multiple pieces of it. I'm getting like single digits Jokic, I guess, like 15, maybe 15%, something like that. Do you think is he legit questionable here?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him lately. I just feel like we've seen this over and over again with him, and I think it's legit questionable. But my guess is we know by 7 Eastern if he's out there for warmups, he's going to be good to go.
You like if he plays, you like him more than Giannis?
I always like him more than everyone, but it's pretty much the net low matchup, and Giannis has a much better matchup, but there's also a blowout risk. So I guess my first look is to not play either of them.
Okay.
That would just be where I'm at. But look, Jokic can put up 80, 85 against anybody, so it's not like I have no problem with it. I just am not. I wouldn't go that way. All right, now we get to Charlotte, a team that I want to remind everybody that I absolutely nailed that pick the other night about Mark Williams. I said without what's his name there, he's going to go completely nuts, and he's way too cheap. And DraftKings agrees with me after he put up 55 million points or whatever it was. Mark Williams was the nuts the other night, and it was my bad for talking myself out of my own play later, letting the Sims do too much of the work and not sticking with it, because that was what you needed to win a couple nights ago, and I'm really pissed off at myself for not sticking with it. But I like Mark Williams again tonight at 6,800. I think it's a great matchup. I think Mark Williams is probably a 7,500 player in the current situation, unless they want to start giving Diabate a bunch of minutes. I think Mark Williams is really, you're going to see him over 40 more often than not. So I love Mark Williams today. I think it's a great matchup for LaMelo, and I'm okay. I think Bridges is reasonable. All three of those guys look pretty good to me, but Williams is my favorite. And on the Bulls side, it's mostly would be just, I guess it would be Vooch, and I'm open to the Kobe White thing, but I don't really want to go out of my way. I think maybe a long shot Lonzo is a reasonable idea. That's pretty much my thoughts on this game.
It's sort of a crowded position today, the center position, but yet still, I'm in agreement with you. I think Mark Williams is definitely a major piece to all that. I mean, I'm getting, 30% at least maybe. Yeah, like 35% of that. So that's fine. I don't really care too much about the price increase. And also, I'm getting LaMelo also, even at 10-4.
Yeah.
So I'm getting both these guys. And as far as Chicago goes, I'm really not getting much of anything. Miles Bridges, I'm looking at him, getting like some of him, like 18%, something like that, at 7,300. So it looks as though I want to probably, if there was a Chicago guy that looked good, it would be nice if he showed up in the lineups, but he's just kind of not. They're just not right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that Vooch and White and Levine are all fine to take shots on, but nobody who stands out specifically. And Charlotte doesn't play quite as fast as they have in previous years. The Bulls still play really fast, though. All right. Next up, we have Toronto and Milwaukee, right?
Yeah. I'm not really getting to either of those studs that I mentioned before between Jokic or Giannis, which is totally fine. That's kind of the way I like to play anyway. I'm not saying too much. I'm Giannis. I'm getting 20%. I guess that's market weight. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
So I am getting some of that. Toronto top owned guy for me. I'm getting a little bit of RJ Barrett. I'm just Scotty Barnes certainly looks reasonable enough. So if I got to him, that would be okay. But I'm not like tripping over anybody to go play this game. But as I mentioned, RJ Barrett, maybe Scotty Barnes if I get to them, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. I don't have a lot that I love in this game, except if there was one guy, again, center's pretty strong, as you mentioned, but Podol would be the one who I'd like the best. But really not getting to much of anything from this game, to be honest.
You got Portis at all? Only because I'm getting about 20% of him also.
Where is the Portis play coming from? Am I missing something? What am I missing here?
He's only 5,300.
Maybe just because he's 5,300, but yeah, I guess as a contrarian play and maybe with the blowout run, yeah, I could see it. That makes some sense. Wasn't my first stop, but I think it makes a little bit of sense. All right, Utah in New Orleans.
Yeah, so I'm going to get yelled at again, it looks like, because the top 3 owned guys I have so far are Utah guys. Drew Eubanks, Keontae George, and Bryce Sensabaugh are my 3 highest owned right now. But as Bobby likes to point out, Utah plays 74,262 guys. So, but the good news is it's not like any of these guys are so expensive. Keontae George, I'd rather not be 66,000, honestly. But I mean, if Drew Eubanks at 4,100, and he's showing up as a pretty damn good play for me. So I'm not going to fight that one. But again, like I said, the center position is pretty crowded. But he right now is my favorite, as far as my favorite, what I'm getting the most of. So
yeah,
Eubanks, George, Sensabaugh, all look good for me. And then New Orleans also, like DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy. I mean, if we could keep this game close somehow, we can get some stuff going here.
Yeah, I think that you get the for me, I think I would get to more Filipowski than Eubanks because he's got the forward eligibility. But Eubanks, it's hard to argue against both of them, assuming that they both start, which they very well might, and they likely will. I don't know why Keontae George isn't projected even better. I do like Keontae George, even with Sexton back. I thought he would actually project even a little bit better. There's still so many guys out. So I've got it ranked Filipowski, Eubanks, Sensabaugh actually, and then George. But George is just because he's more expensive. I think George is like completely like a guy I'd want to go out of my way to get to some exposure or two. I think 6K is too cheap, and I will not do. I don't even think it's like okay. Zion's projected at 26 minutes. I don't know how that's gonna go anywhere. There's no way in a million years I'd ever play him. And I guess DeJounte Murray would be the only one I'd have interest on the New Orleans side, but even that's minimal interest on my part. All right, OKC and Dallas, a little conference or whatever. The matchup that led Dallas to the conference finals last year, the second round matchup from last year. A little revenge in OKC's heart after just completely pummeling the Cavs. I got that one really wrong. It was not my day yesterday. I did not get my bets right. I did not get anything right, really. I felt like I really studied it and was ready for the slate, and I just got everything wrong. Just
OKC pummels everybody. I mean,
yeah, but nobody pummels Cleveland. Cleveland pummels everybody.
Yeah. So Jalen Williams again is going to look like a good play here, but unlike yesterday, and it's kind of so to say because he didn't really do anything, but he's got a lot of competition here today. So he could this could be one of those like funny ironies that today he could get 30 and not matter. Where yesterday, if you got 30, that'd be really helpful.
Right.
So listen, if he starts again, he's 3,800. Sort of have to include him. You want to buy into that other dude, the guy that sort of outplayed him yesterday? What was the guy's name? I don't know. Some guy. What's his name?
No, Kenrich didn't. Who was it?
Nah, some guy I never heard of, like Charles Banks or something. I don't know. I'll have to take a look at it.
Brandon Carlson.
Yes, right.
No, yeah, I had no interest in that one.
Okay, I don't know. People were whining about Brandon Carlson during the first half.
I literally hadn't. I mean, I'll be completely honest. I'm pretty familiar with the NBA and college and everything, and I had no idea who Brandon Carlson was.
There you go.
I had no idea. And I had him projected. I looked back at the thing. He was projected at 0 minutes for me. So I was not on the Brandon Carlson.
You didn't get there. You didn't get the Brandon Carlson. I don't even think he did anything either. It was just like
17 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Or 19 in 17 minutes. Yeah.
They don't need anybody. They just kill people.
It's a machine. It's really, really crazy how good this team is. Caruso should be out today, by the way, which I know that doesn't seem like much for Jalen Williams, but I actually think that is a factor because they went small when they went nuts against them, and that's what they do sometimes. They went small against a really big team in Cleveland, which they couldn't do. The first game they just got manhandled down low by Cleveland. In this game, the going small really worked for them. So go ahead.
There are two games that are on the FanDuel slate that are not on DraftKings. You have Memphis against San Antonio, which is a pretty good game, to say the least.
Yeah.
And then also Brooklyn against LA, which is probably not a good game. Except to say, you do have Mr. D'Angelo Russell going back to Los Angeles.
Yeah, you lock and load that one. That's a play you're looking to capitalize on for sure.
I don't want to play that one. Huh? Okay.
Yeah. What is it like? He's 7,300 on FanDuel though.
I know it's tough. I'm not getting
tough. The projection is terrible. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. But because of it, I mean, he's been coming off the bench for them too. It's kind of weird. Like, I mean, he put up 39 the other night, but it was in 20 minutes. He hasn't played many minutes. He somehow did it in 20 minutes, and he shot 3 of 11. I don't even know how you do that. Like, what did he have? Like 7 steals? He had 9 assists in 20 minutes. Look, man, I would take a stab at it. I'll tell you what.
I think I'd have to try, or at least if you're awake and FanDuel runs Showdown, at least it's like I don't know.
Yeah, there's some way that it should be capitalized on. I feel like, and it's really annoying that it's not on DraftKings. He's like 5,600 on DraftKings or something.
Yeah,
but I think it's probably worth a stab. I did want to mention, by the way, that I think Jalen Williams is like the same. I think he's in like a near lock tonight. I think it's a really good way to just completely forget about yesterday and just go ahead and lock him in. I think he and Gafford are my 2 favorite centers, and they're in that last game. So that would be my.
You like them better than what's his name?
Wendell Carter.
Eubanks.
Eubanks. Yeah, I can just play Filipowski instead. And at power forward because he's the same. He's 4,100.
The other one you could play, by the way, again, wanted to try it instead of Wendell Carter. If you wanted to play Jonathan Isaac, you could try that too.
Yeah, I mean, look, I told you I overslept today, so I'm not. My brain isn't working as perfectly as I'd like it to be. But I really like this idea of just like I think Jalen Williams ends up really low owned tonight. I really do. Jalen with a Y, and I think that you go right back to it, and you're going to get your 35. I really do. That's my bold take for the slate. But again, I like Gafford, but I also really like Mark Williams. There's a lot of good centers out there.
Right.
And that's why I can't get to Jokic either. So it's going to be an interesting slate. We'll be live at 6, right, Sheets?
Yes, I will be live. We will be live at 6.
All right, man. Sounds good. Good luck to everybody today. We'll be live at 6. And,
what is your plan for tomorrow?
So what time would be good for you to do?
I don't know. I'm going. I plan to Stacy tomorrow, so I don't know what's good for me. So You should probably do what's good for you, and if I can make it, I make it.
Yeah, most likely for me, I'm going to probably go live about an hour before the slate.
Oh, so like 3:30ish or so?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Maybe 3.
I hope to be back by then.
Maybe 3. I'll try and schedule it in the morning when I figure out for sure. But
just let me know.
Okay, we'll do.
And I'll see you at 6.